KK Reaper.
And I'm Luna Reaper.
And this is
A Frightful Eve. This evening, we will be reviewing the latest A24 film, Bodies, 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 about a group of 20-something-year-olds that get stuck at a remote mansion during a hurricane, when a party game gone very wrong ends in bloodshed and forces these so-called friends to uncover the killer among them.
But first, the horror news.
We have been blessed with Anne Rice's up-and-coming 2022 continuation of Interview with the Vampire, coming October 2nd to the AMC network. Audiences will be reintroduced to the romantic Southern Gothic world that Anne Rice spent her whole career creating through her writing. This new series will be adapted from her second book titled The Vampire Lestat, which captures the story of the original novel from the perspective of Lestat, a bloodlustful, seductive, and manipulative vampire that turned Louise in the first place, played by Australian actor Sam Reid. If you are not excited about this release, you may not be attracted to the 90s vampires in the first place, and that simply does not sit right with me.
Wednesday 13 has announced part 2 of their 20 Years of Fear US headlining tour for September and October. The setlist will contain tracks that span over the former Murder Dolls frontman's entire career. The new single, You're So Hideous, was just released alongside a gorgeously grotesque Exorcist-themed music video in anticipation of Wednesday 13th's 9th studio album, Horrifier, coming this October 7th via Napalm Records. And for an added terrifying treat, catch the amazing supporting acts, our favorite ghouls, Dickie, Devil, and the Deviants, as well as Anthrophobia, Thursday, September 29th at the Bourre venue in Atlantic City, New Jersey. No true horror punk is going to want to miss out on this electrifying experience.
Barbarian will be coming to theaters this September 9th. Two individual travelers, Tess and Keith, have the misfortune of a double-booked house rental in a sketchy town during miserable weather. Out of consideration for Tess's safety, Keith insists that she stay the night considering the situation and that they figure out how to move forward in the morning. Deep into the night, urgent footsteps awaken Tess, leading to the discovery of a hidden door. In this seemingly normal house, there is horror in store. Tess becomes caught in a maze that seems to introduce us to a twisted game of trial and error, ending in survival or impending doom. With the producers of Stephen King's It, as well as an executive producer of The Grudge and The Ring on this team, it is sure to be a thrilling experience.
In 2 weeks, The Invitation will be gracing the big screens with formal vampiric bliss. When her mother dies, leaving her with supposedly no other living relatives, our leading role, Evie, takes a DNA test, and it turns out she is 100% related to an English aristocrat and has an entire section of family she was unaware of living in the English countryside. She is coerced by said cousin into accompanying him to a family wedding, where she learns the sinful secrets of her family's lineage, and must fight for her survival to escape her twisted relatives. You can further sink your teeth into this story when it hits theaters everywhere on August 26th.
Prey is the newest addition to the Predator storyline that many know and love. Dated to the colonial time period, a lone tribe member, Naru, sets on a solo hunt to prove her skill. This leads to the discovery that there are many more dangers out in the world than a grizzly bear. Our natives, as well as colonizers, are up against a far advanced predator of their time. The practical effects as well as CGI are stunning in order to create our star creature. Released August 5th on Hulu. This show may have gone under the radar by many who have been disappointed by horror options on current streaming services in the past. However, this will be making up for all of that.
Spirit Halloween stores have finally started opening their doors across the country this past week, with the grand opening being held in Egg Harbor, New Jersey on July 30th. In addition to tarot card readings, refreshments, and free spooky swag bags for the first 200 customers, the trailer for the upcoming Spirit Halloween movie was playing over a projection on a loop. The film, set to release on October 11th of this year, stars Christopher Lloyd as an antagonistic spirit haunting, you guessed it, a spirit Halloween store that has set up shop in an abandoned strip mall. When a young group of kids have decided they are too old for trick-or-treating, they instead opt to spend the night inside this spooky shop and find themselves terrorized by possessed props in what is looking like a modern-day Goonies meets Goosebumps mashup. Just another feel-good film to look forward to this Halloween season.
For more information on these events, check the links in the description below.
And now, for the review of Bodies, Bodies, Bodies.
Bodies, Bodies, Bodies was extremely underwhelming if you were going in with the mindset of seeing a horror film. A24 is usually on top of their game when it comes to irreverent and complex films, but this one feels like a steep drop-off from Hereditary and Midsommar.
Horror has never shied away from the classic tropes of teens doing drugs and having sex when and where they shouldn't be. However, Bodies quickly becomes oversaturated in it, like Project X with just a little slice of murder. It's as if they attempted to embody everything they possibly could about Gen Z culture and jam-packed it into an hour and a half through the lens of a grumpy, disconnected old man in their 60s.
It would be kind of comical commentary on the way the younger generation struggles in social settings in the digital age if there was any pacing to the comedic relief at all. The entire film feels like one big joke with no real punchline, except that you paid to see it. We will give credit to the cast's ability to act their role and do it well. They were written to be insufferable, and they played it amazingly.
If the film didn't devolve into such uncomfortable, cringy commentary with these very one-dimensional and ultimately forgettable character types, the cast could have easily carried this film to a much better Frightful Eve rating. But that same approach to the writing was just never-ending, and goes from getting a few pity laughs to plain obnoxious. If Pete Davidson's character was allowed any more screen time than what was given, that might have actually been a point of walking out.
That also speaks to the overall negative outlook and stereotype it casts over Gen Z. The movie tries too hard to take a jab at young people that you could easily get from a clickbait Facebook article with better writing that would be equally as dull and fairly overdone.
As far as the film's ending, all we can say is, they totally got us. It was the very frustrating cherry on top that left us laughing in anger. And if you go in with that mindset, that is really just more of a generational satire that is trying to tick you off every step of the way, rather than a standard slasher, you might just be slightly less agitated leaving the theater.
Bodies, Bodies, Bodies proves to be a rather lackluster entry from an otherwise incredible film company that'll leave you more frustrated than frightened. And for that, we give this movie a 3.5 out of 10.
But if you're looking for a reason to roll your eyes, facepalm, and find humor in cringe, check out Bodies, 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 in theaters now.
That's our show. Thanks for tuning in.
And until next time, Ghosts and Ghouls, have a frightful eve.
This friggin' movie, I swear to God. Wasting my time, oh my God, TikTok challenges.